You think you know me.
Hey guys, Dedds68 back again for another video, and this is a very special edition of the Cutting Dedds second anniversary, even though we've only had 2 shows, yada yada yada. Special guest today is ChaseOliver68, member of the GOG. Link in the description. Please go sub to him. Great YouTuber. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? This is ChaseOliver68 here on the Kings channel for the Cutting Dedds, Episode 2.
Yeah. Okay, we got 3 main topics for you guys today. I guess we'll go ahead and jump into the main topic of the video. There's a reason why we put this first. Possible NWO return. It's very interesting, considering Hulk Hogan's leaving TNA. His contract is almost up. It seems like they're kind of hinting it, with Kevin Nash coming out to that music and stuff. I'll let you go ahead and put your thoughts into that.
For the NWO returning, many of us older fans, we will kind of nitpick it. We will just say it's a ripping off the original NWO. It won't be the same. But, we got to look into a bigger spectrum here and think about the younger fans. And there are older fans who don't know who WCW is. There's dads who take their kids to live events, don't want to get through all this razzmatazz. But basically, it's also a moment for people who didn't really see the NWO actually form in the beginning and to see it again. And not only that, I feel like the WCW fan base, they may bitch and moan about it, but when they see it happen, if it's a good execution of it, they'll be happy and they'll be marking out. They'll say this was one of the greatest moves WWE has ever done. It's going to have mixed opinions, mixed emotions wherever you put it. But I feel if WWE does a good job at executing it, it could be something enjoyable and something that the fans would want to see. And a faction that we haven't seen in a long time. When have we had a last great faction? Nexus was close to being, many people were making those graphics saying Nexus World Order and making signs saying NWO Nexus World Order and all this other shit. So I feel like Nexus was the only close scene of this big faction. We haven't had one of those in a while, and it's refreshing to see a big faction every once in a while that's so dominant no one can stop, but at the same time not too dominant and can be stopped.
Yeah, I agree with you that there needs to be another main faction in wrestling. I think TNA tried to pull that. I think Bischoff and Russo tried to pull that in TNA with, with the whole Mortal and Fortune shit. But TNA and their creative team, they can't pull off anything. So it would be great to see the NWO pull off a huge return and last. But if they end up sort of like the Nexus and they come out to some sort of big entrance and and they're gone basically in like a month, even though Nexus lasted longer than that, it's just gonna be some sort of a return flop. And the thing that Nexus that really screwed them up was, they had all these sort of guys, I guess, like Michael Tarver. I saw his shoot interview. He was sort of being held back by management. They didn't want him to wrestle in the ring, and Darren Young, I think that he should definitely be on the roster today. I don't know why the fuck they're doing that, but they completely held back those guys. It was all about Wade Barrett, and they was trying to get Bryan Danielson off to his push in WWE, and it sort of seems like they sort of just dropped the whole gimmick of the Nexus, off the spectrum. All like the whole Nexus thing was a flop. Basically, after I guess the first 2 or 3 months, I'd say about Survivor Series, the Nexus was a joke.
Yeah, the Nexus kind of did fall out of Survivor Series. They didn't really put them over well enough. You got Cena in there to add a mix to the group, and people were thinking the Cena heel turn was going to happen, but they just didn't pull the right trigger. They messed it up at the end. Punk running it didn't really help that much, so yeah, pretty much Nexus kind of fell out that.
Yeah, I mean, for the NWO to come back and pull this, sort of huge return to wrestling, a couple things are going to have to happen. They're going to have Hogan get re-signed because, let's face it, NWO is not going to be successful without Hogan. We're going to have probably Kevin Nash. He's got to have to be there. You have to have at least 2, I guess, authentic members, and him coming out to the NWO theme, it could be a red herring. It could just be bullshit, But I think there's a reason they did that. I think they're gonna at least attempt to sign a Hogan again. I guarantee that. I'd like to see Scott Hall do something, but he's not on a Legend contract. I don't think. I'd like to see where this is going, and I'd like to see how they're gonna incorporate these newer talents, at least at the mid card level, into it. You have any thoughts on like possible members?
Uh, Miz and R-Truth's another one. I feel like if you got a face that no one would expect to turn heel, it would be something that's cool. Like if I don't know, Kofi Kingston. I know that's a long shot
Oh,
because
yeah, that would be pretty cool.
or Evan, or I know him and Evan more tag team, but and that would pick up a tag team. But wouldn't it be shocking to the fans if they're like, what the fuck? Kofi Kingston just turned on his fans and he starts going crazy on the mic? That would make people interesting. I mean, hell, if CM Punk can say whatever he wants on the mic, let's give other superstars this opportunity as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, with Kofi Kingston turning heel and like giving this chance of speaking on the mic and speaking his true mind, it would bring more of those real characters that many people like in CM Punk. Most of my friends who don't watch wrestling and after watching Money in the Bank like CM Punk. Why? Because he relates to them in real life, and that's what you need to get, relatable characters. And with Kofi doing that, and maybe another face that you wouldn't expect, it's something interesting and cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought of this about 2 minutes ago. I think a possible guy to join it would be Christian, but I think that would only happen if the NWO wasn't a flop, and they had it sort of expand over both brands. Because I think Christian, apparently he's supposed to get back in the world title picture, but I don't. I don't really see it happening because I'm expecting Kane or Undertaker to come back at this point.
Yeah.
I read the spoilers on SmackDown because I won't be there.
It's especially if you're building up Mark Henry, which I'll go into it when we talk about the other topic. Mark
Yeah.
Henry needs to have a big opponent for then him to dominate, and then have Sheamus take the belt off him.
Yeah, and I don't like the fact that Sheamus has sort of been, I guess, I don't know, just say pushed back a little. Because Sheamus is definitely one of the main event. I'd say him over Christian. I don't think Christian. I don't think he's got the, I guess the look of a main eventer. Yeah, sure, everybody can argue that, but that's just my opinion. Okay, and that would be another video, not today. But I just think Sheamus could pull off the main event a lot better than Christian. I think Sheamus has proved it, And Sheamus, they built him like this big thing. He hasn't held a title in almost like what? No, like other than the U.S. title, but he hasn't held the world title in what, like 8-9 months.
Yeah, almost a year.
Yeah, almost a year. Sheamus could be the guy to take over the NWO. Not the NWO. What the fuck? The World Heavyweight title, and then we could have Christian. Sort of get involved in NWO. I could see Christian pulling it off, but he'd have to pull off some sort of new look. He still looks like a face. He's been wearing the same shit.
He just combed his hair down. That way, he's more equal.
Yeah. I just think the NWO they could really pull this off. Another guy I could expect to do it would be Cody Rhodes. Expect Cody. I could see it happening. I just hope they don't push Cody Rhodes back.
Yeah.
I don't. I think Cody Rhodes is gonna have something going on with Orton soon. They're gonna pull that off because apparently he. Yeah, I read the spoilers. And, apparently he attacked Orton. So they're gonna pull something off with that. I just think, like, for all those possible members to join the NWO, it'd be a great way to incorporate talent, that hasn't been able to get their push. Air Boom finally got their somewhat sort of a push because Evan Bourne wasn't doing shit, He's just sort of a spot monkey from ROH, but, and then you got Kofi Kingston, a guy, who's been mid-card for about 4 years. And I wasn't sure he was going to go anywhere after that, And then all of a sudden,
really helped it. I think we should move on to Hell in a Cell now.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're at about 8 minutes, guys. Yeah, we were getting off topic right there. But anyways, next we got Hell in a Cell. I'm gonna give my quick thoughts on Hell in a Cell. I think Hell in a Cell could be a good pay-per-view overall. I just think it has a lack of build because they are at sort of a, I don't know what you call it, a short I don't know. They just have less build for this pay-per-view because of they had to push Night of Champions up a week so it wouldn't be on 9/11. And they only have about, I think, 3 plus the Divas match, 4 matches announced. Do you have any?
All right. I just kind of considered the build up of Night of Champions for the build up of Hell in a Cell. I think this show could be decent. I'm looking forward to Henry Orton Hell in a Cell and the Triple Threat Hell in a Cell. The Divas titles, whatever. Sheamus and Christian is okay. This match could be good. We've seen on SmackDown a couple times, so it's not like they're giving us matches we see every single week. It's like matches that we don't see every week. I just wish Orton and Henry had a little bit more extra build up from Night of Champions because their Night of Champions build up to me was just fantastic. And I thought this would be like the moment where Orton finally gets like his revenge. He's going after Henry. He's like I thought you should have saved Jerry to King Lawler, believe it or not. And then but in the end get attacked by Mark Henry. And then the final SmackDown is when Orton gets his little like taste of I'm gonna beat you, where he like gets Henry in like I don't know an RKO or he swings a chair at him, and then he doesn't do too much damage. Where Henry escapes, Orton stares at him, went for the title. That's what I think would have been excellent to end this feud, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think Hell in a Cell could be a great pay-per-view with the build that's been given. I really think this whole firing with Miz and R-Truth is just it's gonna lead to some, of course, but like I think
That
it's
and I
mainly
hope
just
Iron
like
Admit our truth is not like I meant that it's storyline progression, but I just hope that Hell in a Cell they're not there. The reason why I feel like if you just do it at Hell in a Cell, it just feels like no one's gonna watch it, and a pay per view is also yes, it's you to watch the show next the next night, but it's also meant to like finish feuds and solidify stuff. I don't think it needs to be like brought up at so I feel like it should be brought up on random Raw all the time. Like keep this legit. Don't keep it for 2 weeks. Make this legit. Make people believe they're actually fine. Make me forget that they're in the company. And then when they come back, it's like holy shit, they're back. I thought they were fired.
yeah, I mean like especially I think WWE's been kind of falling back on I guess putting depth into their feuds. They just kind of push it off to the next week. My original thought with this is that Miz and R-Truth were going to attack Triple H on the next Raw. It's sort of I think they're going to come back probably the Raw after Hell in a Cell. They're going to come back with some sort of attitude like, because of the COO, we had to miss a pay per view, yada yada. And then I think they're going to sort of like I guess like threaten Triple H into putting them in a world title match, not a world title match, a tag team title match with Air Boom, because I think that's where the whole tag team is going to go. I think they're just going to push it towards the tag team titles. And another match, I think I don't know if it's announced yet. I don't really think it is yet, but I think we're going to have another match for the IC title. I think we're going to have Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, it should be a decent show.
Yeah, I'm actually going to say this. I expect Ted DiBiase to win this. Ted DiBiase, because the guy, what else are you going to do with him? It seems like Rhodes is set to go to the main event in probably about 3 or 4 months with this feud with Orton. At least something like that. And SmackDown could really use him in the main event. I think he's a great character and stuff. I could really expect that. We're at about 13 minutes, guys. We got about a minute to talk about about the Bound for Glory. I guess we'll just talk about it real quick. You got any thoughts on Bound for Glory right now?
I feel Bound for Glory. I think TNA is going the route with the show. That's already very limited. I don't care about. I think going the right route with it. They're building up Robert Roode, world champion. I'm actually looking forward to seeing and hope, believe it or not. So to be honest, I feel like they're doing a fine job with it. I think it could be a good show overall. They're actually building things up into this that I could actually have been actually building up in the past. So I'm very looking forward to this show and seeing what they can do with it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'd agree with you. I think this pay-per-view's got somewhat good build from TNA. They've been kind of pushing this Sting Flair thing kind of, out the box. But, it's sort of, I hate to say this, but, because some people pick on you about it, but, I actually sat through TNA last week. And, it was okay. Oh, wait, no. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but I saw a match between Kaz and Bobby Roode. I like to see where they're going with Bobby Roode. I think he's a guy, he could have been champ a year ago or so. He's great talent. We got about 40 seconds left. Spit out your last thoughts, bro.
Pretty much that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode. And make sure you guys subscribe to the King Kings.
Yeah. And the Gurus of Greatness. I'll put both links in the description. We're both great groups, and please sub to Chase Oliver, link in the description. Hope you like the second ever Cutting Dedds, guys. Peace out.
All right, Dad, I'm going to go into